Hey there, Facebook. It is Vanessa here again, your speaker, trainer, and coach from Live, Love, Give. And today I have a message coming to you, which has obviously, as always, it's kind of sparked by something going on in my life. And I was having a wonderful conversation with a great friend of mine this morning about this topic. And it just kind of got me really revved up, and I just felt like I really wanted to share it with you guys and check in with you guys about what you think about this. But ultimately, today's message is, and I'm going to dive into and unpack why I want to talk about this and why it's important for our own personal growth and our freedom of mind and our connections and our evolution. And it has just so many different amazing things that it can impact in our lives. So really today's message is all about asking you the question, are you choosing equality or is it really superiority? And I think that this is a message that each and every one of us, I want us to ask, and I'm going to dive into that right now. As you guys are jumping on and joining me live, please let me know where in the world you're tuning in from. I love getting to hear that. So as I was talking to this friend this morning, I actually was listening to a podcast, and I love Joe Rogan's podcast. I just absolutely love it. He interviews some amazing human beings with such different perspectives. And as you guys know, I love challenging my belief systems and my own perspectives. And anyway, he was interviewing this guy, and I'm going to forget his name, but I'll drop it in the comments afterwards. Milo, some really long, weird name. And I've only listened to a short piece of it, which was just a snippet of a debate that they were having, which was actually around atheism. And I'm super interested in learning about, different people's belief systems, and religion just happens to be one of those things in our society that just has people on opposing belief systems, thinking they're totally right, and oftentimes getting into this mindset of thinking that they're the only ones who are right, and that their service is to save the other people from their incorrect belief systems. So I always find that super fascinating. And this debate was getting really heated between Joe Rogan and this Milo somebody or other guy. Should have looked it up, but I'll drop you a link, like I said. And anyway, they're having this debate, and it was just this like talking over each other and blah, blah, blah. But one really fascinating thing that this Milo guy said was when he was talking actually about feminism and his concept around feminism, and his, he believes that a lot of these feminists are choosing superiority as opposed to equality. And it really was fascinating to hear him say that, and then see him actually be completely hypocritical in terms of his religious beliefs, and sort of impart that same sort of thing that he was judging in these feminists, he was actually taking part on in his religion. And I just was having this conversation with this friend, and kind of we have a very similar mindset in terms of coming to a place of love and acceptance of people who are completely differing to us, have completely different belief systems. And the more they challenge us, the better, because the more they challenge us, the more we're given an opportunity to actually go, whoa, am I feeling like kind of superior because I don't agree with anything that this person believes wholeheartedly? Am I thinking that I'm right and they're wrong? Or am I getting to a place of equality where I'm like, okay, whoa, I don't believe what they believe, but let me, instead of getting judgmental, let me get curious. And let me believe that there is always something to be learnt from a differing perspective. And I don't have to make that mean anything less about me. I don't have to, just because somebody doesn't agree with my experience and my viewpoint of the world, doesn't mean that I'm more superior than them, and doesn't mean that I have to take their lack of alignment with what I believe personally and make it mean something about me. And so many of us kind of get into these debates, and we think, like the conversation I was having with a friend of mine this morning, we were like kind of getting hypocritical in a way, because we started to judge somebody for their perspective. And I think so many of us start getting into this way of this mindset of being where we feel really self-righteous. We feel like it's our job to change the perspectives of others, to save them, to all of these different things. And we put ourselves up on this pedestal, and we put everybody else who doesn't believe the same way that we do in a pit, rather than, as Dr. John D. Martini would say, in our hearts, by bringing each other into balance, by allowing another person's perspective to be shared without judgment, so that I can learn something from it and not expect myself or project that I know all and everything that I believe is right and correct without having that new information come in, and then me be expanded by that and have more of a perspective as to what direction to choose. So I hope me sharing this with you guys is of value to you. I just think it's super important that any of us who are looking to grow and evolve and be free and have true fulfillment and depth of connection, we have to get over our superiority, and we have to actually realize and check in with whether or not we are going for equality, or we're just kind of trying lovingly to bring our perspective and save other people, and act as if our perspective is the right perspective. It doesn't matter what is backing that, religious beliefs, different groups, it's kind of this tribal mentality that creates separation and superiority as opposed to connection and equality. And I think that any of you guys who are watching a video like this, I hope that you are definitely going to check in with yourself and see, whoa, where have I kind of been like operating in this superiority? Even if I have felt, that it was coming from a well-intentioned place, who am I to say that my experience and my belief system should be yours? You are an individual. You have your own perspectives, your own experience, and if your belief system serves you and empowers you, even if I don't agree with it, that's great, because let's opt for what empowers the individual as opposed to, trying to be judgmental and cut somebody else down when we're living in our own subjective worlds and we cannot know, and we have not experienced what goes on in another person's subjective reality. So, hoping that this is of value to you guys. Let me check in with you guys. As I said, I want to hear from you. I want you to drop me a comment. Let me know where in the world you are tuning in from today. And definitely give me some perspective from you. Like, what has been your perspective with having people either force their belief system onto you, or maybe you realizing I've been trying to force my perspective, my belief system onto others, and it's just not working out. It's not creating connection, it's actually creating disconnection. And when we don't open our minds up to curiosity and a love for learning from any individual who is walking the path of their own subjective experience, when we cut ourselves off from that, we don't evolve, we don't grow, we just get stuck in this self-righteous, lack of fulfillment kind of state of being where people don't feel as though they can be all of who they are. They feel shame if they go against the values of the pack or the belief system in that tribal mentality, and I think that all of us can agree that the world is going to be a much brighter, amazing, exciting place when we're all able to be fully who we really are and share that without shame, judgment, whatever, and from the perspective of being able to learn and grow and evolve from our individuality being expressed as the whole. So let me check in. I could go on all day about this, but who have I got? I've got Sam. Awesome to see you, and Stephen and Justin, and thank you for your kind compliment there, Sam. And Judy's here, and Alexandria. Thanks, Alexandria, my spirit sister. And Sam, yes, being open to others' perspective and experiences. Absolutely. I really do believe that if we could just be all of who we are and share openly what our perspectives are with an open curiosity to hearing another person's differing perspective, that is how we actually do evolve. We evolve when we communicate, when we share openly, authentically, and we generate an openness. And it doesn't mean that we have to, just become, because people choose their belief systems because they don't want to be, they're in that tribal mentality and they don't want to lose connection. But at the end of the day, they lose connection with their deeper parts of who they really are, because they're trying to live up to the expectations of a group that may or may not be really in alignment with the truth of who they are, but they're so scared of, being an outsider and losing the pack, that they end up living a really inauthentic life, and they may have surface level connections with a group of people, but they feel dead and empty and disconnected on the inside. And so therefore they can't be of real service, contribution. They can't discover what their genius is and unleash their greatness because they don't even know what it is. And the moment we shift and change from superiority to equality, realness, and just really being accepting of the individual and their expression, then the sooner we actually get to experience true connection and fulfillment, not only within but also externally in real authentic connections. And it's so funny that I'm bringing this up, but another friend of mine, I'm actually going out with on this coming Friday, and I'm going to something kind of crazy for me. It's called Ecstatic Dancing. If you guys have ever heard of it, please let me know, drop me a comment, but don't terrify me, because I already know how so far out of my element I'm going to be. But the idea and the concept behind this ecstatic dancing, which I've never done before, it's going to be my very first time, is it's like a place where you go and it's like a dance party, but it's like nobody's like drinking or taking drugs or anything. It's the opposite. It's like tapping into true self-expression through dance and movement with music. And I'm actually kind of a bit scared about it, and that's why I knew I have to do it and challenge myself. And if I talk about self-expression and authenticity and having non-judgment and all of that sort of stuff, well, I should be going to this sort of thing and testing it out and seeing what that's like. And I think it's going to be pretty mind-blowing. I can't wait to share the experience with you guys. So stay tuned for that one. But yeah, let me know if you've ever experienced ecstatic dancing. It kind of sounds crazy. Justin, I can change no one. I can only change myself. As I change, others change in response to me. Ah, that is so, so beautifully put, Justin. I absolutely love that. Most definitely, we can't control other human beings, but we certainly can influence them. But the way that you're only ever going to be of real influence is when you walk your talk. Human beings have an innate BS meter. We can tell who's being authentic, who's just not. And some people might fall victim to the person who's just totally not being authentic, or the person who is really using their power to try and control somebody. We can fall subject to that. But at the end of the day, what wins is authenticity. So if you really want to influence and have an impact on people around you, you got to walk your talk. You got to know who you are. You got to be on that journey, and you got to be courageous enough to be vulnerable and share your authentic perspectives. So I absolutely love what you just shared there, Justin. Thank you, my friend. And Sam, such a valuable message. In the past, I was stuck in righteousness of being spirit-filled, born-again Christian and not valuing the other side. Absolutely, Sam. And I love that that's been part of your journey. And, so many of us, we absolutely create codependence with different belief systems. And that this part of our journey of and our evolution and our experience, every single one of us experiences codependency, whether it's with a person or a belief system or something that we've learned. We just think it's the be all and end all. And then as we transform out of that particular stage, this is Stephen Covey's model, we then transform into independence, where we want to just chuck the Bible away, or, just think there was nothing good in that belief system or that way of being. And, we get into that, as you call it, that self-righteous sort of perspective, Sam. And what happens is, at the end of the day, that still is not a healthy place to be, but it's a necessary part of the process of evolution. The idea is that we get to a place of interdependence, and that is where we're not thinking it's the absolute be all and end all, and we're also not thinking that it has zero amount of value whatsoever. We get to a place where we transition from codependence to independence to interdependence, where ultimately that interdependence is a place where we draw upon the different value pieces. We know where to utilize it and use its value, but we also know that it's not to be used in every single place as we once might have thought in codependence. So I love that you brought that to the conversation, Sam. Thank you. And Frederick, I'm loving that you're finding some truth here. That's awesome. And Sam, but spirituality has opened me up this year with love, open connections and authentic communication, and open to others' experiences and perspectives. Absolutely. And I absolutely love that about you, Sam. I know that you are such an open-hearted, beautiful soul who definitely soaks up the different perspectives of others. And it's a beautiful energy that you have, Sam. I so appreciate it. And Ecstatic Dancing is hot. Yes, I've been dancing for the last 3 months. Oh, awesome. Oh my gosh, I'm like, I'm just going to be totally out of my element, but I cannot wait to test myself. And if you think you can't, you must, right? From Tony Robbins. So definitely can't wait to share that experience with you guys. And really, that is my message for you. I really hope that it's got you thinking as to whether you've been really choosing equality, or maybe it's been a bit of superiority and you've created the opposite to what you're really looking to achieve, and you've actually been starting to create disconnection and making people feel shame for their beliefs and who they are. And just realize that we're all in our own journey, and we need to respect other people's belief systems, but we also need to openly be curious about what they are and open to other people challenging our belief systems from the right place, and taking on board different things, you know, having a willingness to have our belief systems crushed and shifted and transformed. You know, that's the place where we'll actually access true empowerment and fulfillment, and not stay stuck and identified with belief systems that we may have outgrown or just don't resonate and we're not congruent with anymore. So that is it from me today, guys. As always, I'm sending you all of my love, light, blessings, gratitude, energy, enthusiasm, everything extraordinary coming to you, to wherever you are in the world today. I hope it's absolutely beautiful, amazing, and extraordinary. Hope you're doing something phenomenal, and a happy Easter to every single one of you guys out there. Sending you all of my love, and I cannot wait to see you guys tomorrow.